Don't quit before the miracle happens. It feels impossible until it isn't impossible. Hi, my name's Isabel Donnelly, and welcome to the Sober Spill. While we are filming this in mid-October, by the time this is released, this will be our Halloween episode, so I don't typically wear this to work, though in my normal work clothes, I was running PHP this morning, and I was told I have like a witchy Wednesday Addams vibe, which I fully embrace, and I think that's cool. That's kind of what I aim for. So to the average layman, I'm a skeleton. To the people that know, I am Phoebe Bridgers. I'm not going to wear a wig. I would look crazy with straight hair. I know you might not understand that, but you have to trust me. I would look insane with straight hair. I've done it before. It's not okay. I don't recognize myself. I have like an existential crisis thing. I think it's face dysmorphia is what that is. But today we are answering your questions that you've submitted from either on the Mountainside Instagram, the Sober Spill Instagram. They both are running polls at one point. So are different things that have been DM'd to me as well. Answering your questions. Some of them are fun. Some of them are a little bit less serious. And some of them are actually will require me to critically think. So we'll see how that goes. I've nixed one of them. Someone asked me, one of the questions was, what is drinking Delsum like? And I don't see how it's constructive to answer that. So I don't know, maybe find me like IRL and we'll talk about it. But if you have any more questions that don't get answered today, like this leaves you wondering about something or you're just curious, you can DM my Instagram at stopisabel_. It's at stopisabel because I dare someone to try to stop me. STOP Isabel ISABEL _ and I'll probably also link my work number below if I'm feeling crazy. If I'm feeling a little spooky, I guess, for the season. But yeah, I just wanted to address this up top so the entire time people weren't like, Isabel's having a meltdown, like it finally happened. All the computer duster finally caught up with her, and we're very sad about it. So, all right, lock in. We'll answer some of your questions. One of them, I guess we're going to go in hot. One of the questions was, have you ever done PCP? Thank you for asking. Yes, many times. I don't recommend. It's very scary. And that's also like the addict mentality where none of the times that it happened, it was fun. But it was always a horrifying experience. But every time I was like, maybe it'll be different this time. And it never was. So yeah, do not recommend. Don't care how much free time you have. Don't do it. What is the most famous, or who is the most famous celebrity that has come to Mountainside? I feel like this one's a trap. I can't tell you because I could get fined like $10,000 from HIPAA. And I work in health services. I don't have $10,000 to spare. So that's a no on that one. This question, do I need detox? If you're asking if you need detox, you probably need detox. In the same way where sometimes I have people, wondering like, am I an alcoholic? But they're not sure. Like usually people who aren't alcoholics don't wonder if they're alcoholics. You know what I mean? And I say that lovingly, where if you feel like you need detox, there's a part of you that wants to live and wants to get better, go to detox. If you don't know how to get that started and you want to talk about that, once again, just DM me on the gram. I'm around and I'm pretty attached to my phone, which I would say is a problem. So, but you can take advantage of that problem that I have. So come find me. Is getting sober young weird? It is weird. Like it's a very unique experience. And I used to think it was harder than getting sober young, but than getting sober old, but I think that was me being naive. Like I didn't have a career I had to put on hold. I didn't have a mortgage I had to pay. I had nothing. I didn't know who I was. And so it was very much starting from scratch. But I always tell clients when we have clients that are young that are coming through, there's never a right time to get sober. And if you get sober young for the rest of your life, everyone's like, oh my God, you got sober so young. And it's really good for like the alcoholic ego. Plus then you get to be a part of the never taking a legal drink club, which is cool. I've never had a legal drink. So yeah, I'm missing out on that, but I don't think I'm missing out on much. Sobriety's kind of paying off for me. I'm pretty into it. When will your husband or Bubman be on the podcast? So for context, Bubman is my cat. I can't diagnose. I don't have a licensure for that, but I'm pretty confident he has generalized anxiety disorder. He's maybe clinically insane. You might not believe this just based on him being a cat, but experience him, like spend 24 hours with him and you'll get what I'm saying. He's learned a lot from me. He's very dramatic. So he can never be on the podcast. He would be really freaking out the whole time. He would climb the couch. He would cause property destruction. TMZ would shut this place down. We get swarmed by paparazzi. They'd be like, "Where's Bub, man? I gotta see him." Also, he requires taking controlled substances to live, so this isn't like the place for him probably. And I would love to have my husband on just because I like hanging out with him, but also he would have to take PTO, and that's crazy. So, And someone asked if they can be on the pod. Possibly. There's only one way to find out. It doesn't hurt to ask. It's once again like DM either of the accounts, mine or Sober Spill. Reach out my work number and let's talk about it. There's also an interest form on the Sober Spill Instagram account that you can fill out. And if we think it's a good match, we'll reach out to you. Really, I just like an opportunity to talk to interesting people. I've met a lot of cool people through doing this, which has been a lot of fun. If you're like a person in recovery, I'll be the one interviewing you. If you have a clinical background, perhaps some letters next to your name, then our girl Jana will be the one interviewing you. She's cool too. Is Mountainside a good place to work? So we have a lot of alumni that reach out to me because I want to work at Mountainside, which I think is very flattering for Mountainside, that people feel compelled to come work here. And I mean, you could say I'm biased because I work here, but it is a very good place to work. I've worked at a lot of treatment centers before, and there have been numerous issues in different places, but Mountainside always does a lot to make me feel safe, make me feel like emotionally supported in whatever scenario I'm in, and also they really have believed in me in a significant way, where in the same way they do for clients, right? Where it's like believing in you before you believe in yourself. Like when I started this job, I was kind of like, why do they want me here? Like, what do I know? And they've done a good job of like building me up professionally and giving me cool opportunities like this. What podcasts do I listen to? Do I have any other recs for podcasts? So I don't really listen to recovery podcasts. I think because like I'm in AA, I'm in recovery, I work in recovery. All of my friends, to some extent, are in recovery. My roommate/husband is in recovery, so I think that can get a little bit redundant for me. But I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts. I care a lot about comedy writing, and I'm kind of a comedy nerd. So right now I'm really into the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast. That's a good time. I drive like an hour to get to work, and if you've ever been to Canaan, you know you probably lose service for like 20 minutes on the way up here, so gotta pay for YouTube Premium, get that download. It's important. It's crucial. Otherwise, oh my God. Yeah, I'm like a child throwing a tantrum if I don't have anything to keep me active, keep my brain distracted while I'm on the ride home. Biggest early recovery mistake. There's so many. There's so many mistakes. And I think making mistakes in treatment is helpful in the sense that you have the opportunity to kind of like fall down, learn from your mistake, and get back up, not let it cripple you. And it's also one of the first opportunities you have to be honest, which is, I don't know, it's cool to be honest and not be penalized for that and learn that you can do that. That's really nice. I think a lot of the mistakes people make, like early getting into relationships in treatment, that can be a classic mistake. Not waiting a year to date, that's a classic mistake. Like, obviously the recommendation is always wait a year, but most people don't, and then most people learn their lesson. Like, almost everyone I know who started dating within the first year, they're like, oh, I should have listened, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. Or whippets or relapse. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I guess it can be kind of subjective, but if you're taking any sort of mood-altering substance, and you're in an abstinence-based program, yeah, that's probably a relapse. I know if I did whippets, that would be a massive problem. You wouldn't see me again. This would be the last time I'd be caught on camera, so not good. Next on that one. Should I wait a year to date? Yes, please do it. I know you're not going to listen to this advice. I got told so many times not to do that, and I was like, I know better. I mean, I was also 19, so I was the worst. I thought I knew everything. I have a lot of people you can verify that with if you want to talk to them. But yeah, I mean, I would avoid dating for a year if you can. A lot of the times you're still learning how to live again. You're learning who you are. And it's very easy to, like, you're no longer using or drinking. And so you're going to reach for the next thing that makes you feel good. And codependency, sex, and love is pretty consistently one of those easy things to reach for. And it can just become a distraction, really, which is really, really challenging. How have I changed in sobriety? I've changed in really significant ways, and thank God for that. Like, I can't imagine if I still was the person I was at like a year sober, even. That wasn't a cool person or a person that I felt good about being. One of the major ways I've changed is I'm nice, like I'm kind now. I was very mean in early sobriety, or even for like the first year. Not like mean, but I had a hostile vibe, I think is like a self-protective thing. Like, I'm sure you've heard of resting bitch face. I had like resting homicidal face. I looked ready to fight at all times and would just try to keep people at a distance. One of my friends who I've known since I first got sober, so I've known her for 7.5 years now. She had me meet her boyfriend, and after I met her boyfriend was like, "Oh, Isabel's really nice," and she thought it was very funny. I've also become a lot more optimistic. Like, I can definitely slip into kind of like nihilism and pessimism at times and operating out of fear, but I've become a lot more optimistic in that I no longer think the world's gonna end. I used to be referred to as, my mom called me the most negative person she'd ever met. And that's fair. At that point I was, but it's cool to grow out of that.
Hi, everyone. Pat McCarthy here. Mountainside's Brighter Future Scholarship applications open September 2025. If you're a high school senior living in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, or Massachusetts, your life has been touched by addiction, we want to help you pursue your educational goals. Share your journey in an essay at mountainside.com for a chance to be chosen. We can't wait to hear your story.
Dating in the 12-step fellowship. So I think this one can be this one's a little subjective. Like, it really depends on the person, where you're at, where the other person's at. I know I met my husband in AA at the Friday night AA meeting here on campus, actually. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't want people coming here like looking for love. You should be looking for recovery if you're coming here. But it just depends. Like, if the other person's working their own program, if they've been through the steps, if they have time under their belt, stuff like that can make a difference. But otherwise, you shouldn't necessarily be like, what are you doing after this? The classic, like, oh, do you want to smoke a cigarette outside with me? We know what that means. I know what you're up to. I know because I've been up to that and I get it, but don't do it. What kind of support does Mountainside offer residents? I'm assuming this is probably submitted by somebody who's interested in coming, hopefully. If you do, call me, girl. But Mountainside offers a lot of different support. Like, we have a lot of different staff members that come from different backgrounds and can provide specific supports. Like, we have clinicians who have experience as first responders or as veterans and can better cater to that population. We also have plenty of people in recovery, which I think can be really helpful, because I know, at least when I was first getting sober, once again, going along with the being actively very hostile, but if I had someone who wasn't in recovery tell me to do something, I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I would get very petulant very quickly. So it's kind of like the you can't bullshit a bullshitter thing. Like, having other people who are in recovery around you can be super helpful. There's acupuncture, there's yoga, there's sound baths, there's outside meetings, there's like nutritional support. Really anything that you can need, we can likely provide, which is cool. I love acupuncture. I was kind of nervous about it, but I'm super into it. I'm not super into sound baths. I don't like to shut my eyes around strangers. I get nervous. Like, in my head, I think someone's going to like throw a hacky sack at me or something, and I'm not going to see it coming, and then I'm going to get hit, and then everybody's going to be like, wow, she looks dumb. You could say that's me projecting, or maybe a mental illness thing, but I won't confirm or deny. That's also, if you ever call about, this is not a question, but if you ever call about who's been here or like what's going on, or you want to check in on somebody, I will always hit you with the I cannot confirm or deny. And no, I do feel that I'm being annoying when I do it, but it's also necessary and professional. So I'm going to keep doing it. What message would you share with someone starting their recovery journey? I think it's always a don't quit before the miracle happens, and also don't give up on the person you might be in a year. Someone told me that, and that was kind of enough to keep me trucking in the beginning, where like, yeah, right now I might feel so depressed and I might feel like there's no end in sight and I want to get high, and all of these outside issues are so loud in my head and it feels kind of impossible to get out of. But I don't know, like Isabel in a year, she might be doing so well. And I have to give her the opportunity to do that. So I have to like stick with it. I can't give up on who I might be because I don't know who that is yet. And I might be living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And that's become very true for me. There are plenty of times if I had just like phoned it in, I wouldn't be in the circumstance I'm in now, which would suck because I like my circumstances now. Crazy. But yeah, don't quit before the miracle happens. It feels impossible until it isn't impossible. That was really well said. And I think that was very articulate. Meetings internationally. Yeah, there are meetings internationally. We actually had a guy come through here at one point that had like a big hand in bringing NA to London, which is really cool. There are meetings internationally. Sometimes they might be harder to find. I know I've been in different countries and sought out meetings, and it's like the closest one is 40 minutes away. But luckily, virtual meetings are also super accessible, especially if you're in a place where you don't speak the language. Yeah, it just also depends. I've noticed in some countries they're also like, alcoholism? What is that? I'm like, girl, let me tell you, it's crazy. I keep losing friends and I'm scared to get close to people. Does that get better? I think that's a super common one for people in early sobriety, or people at all lengths of sobriety. Like when you get sober, it's kind of the factor of a lot of people don't make it, and that's just the reality of it, where you're going to lose people, and how do you not let that close you off from other relationships? Because I don't know, that can be scary, and that's something I experienced in my first couple of months of sobriety. I just had people like dropping like flies, and that was extremely disheartening. Like all of these people I'd just been like ripping and running with. It brings up, you questioning your own mortality, a lot of like being angry at God, stuff like that, where why am I alive? The survivor's guilt. And I think a big thing for me in getting out of that was understanding that loving someone is taking a risk. Like any of my friends, loving them is taking a risk, but it's deciding that they're worth the risk, if that makes sense. Where, opening yourself up to someone can cause you to get hurt. It can open you up to like a world of hurt, but also it's worth the risk because I love them so much. And that's where I will never stop talking about the female relationships I've built in sobriety. They rock my world. Like that is so enriching. I could ride that high for a pretty long time after I spend time with them. What's your relationship like with your family today? So it's better than ever. I mean, my mom, if you go back through podcast episodes, my mom was on the podcast, and that was really cool. My only regret with that was we didn't talk more about what our relationship is like at present. It was more kind of rehashing the past, which I think was relatable for a lot of people too, because I think it's cool being able to get her perspective on things. And my sister has also been like, get me on the pod, but she's not capable of not turning everything into a joke. So I asked her, I'm like, would you be able to lock in for this? And she was like, probably not. I mean, we'll see, but I don't really want to have her drive up for an hour and a half just to see, and then have it be, a real mess around time. But my relationship is a lot better with them. I think as I learn to be courteous, as I learn to be kind, as I learn to be aware of how my behavior impacts other people and start taking accountability for that, not treating everybody else like collateral. And then also explaining, like it was a big learning curve having to explain to people that me choosing drugs or alcohol for a long time in a way that looked like over these relationships, and to an extent was over these relationships, didn't mean that I didn't love and care about them. It meant in that moment I didn't have the ability to make a different choice. And so that was really important. And also taking accountability for all the stuff I did. And that's the thing with the men's too. You know, you're taking accountability for stuff that predates your use probably too, because a lot of times it's like the alcoholic condition. Like I was an alcoholic, I believe, before I ever picked up drugs and alcohol. I always felt a little restless, a little bit irritable, a little bit discontent, like felt very less than for a pretty significant amount of time before. That, you know, you can't always necessarily trace back to anything. Sometimes things just are. But yeah, being able to take accountability for how your behaviors impacted people in the long term too. That's all the questions I have. Once again, if you want to submit more questions to the podcast, DM at stopisabel _ STOPISABEL _ find me on there. Comment below, really anything. I kind of like doing these. It's fun, builds intrigue. But yeah, these are a lot of good questions. And I know I also had so many questions in early sobriety where you don't always have like the forum. I don't want to raise my hand in a meeting and being like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do differently? Like sometimes that can feel like a lot. So yeah, DM, I'll answer. I'm here. And also if you ever need support in any way, that's like my whole gig. I'm pretty good at that. So call or text me. My phone number, my work number will be linked below. Thanks. And I also just wanted to say genuinely thank you to everybody who's been following along, listening, submitting questions, and also people who have been asking to be on the pod. This has been a really fun project to work on. I like being able to speak into the void. And I like being able to kind of represent Mountainside in a fun way. This is a lot of fun for me. So once again, like submit if you want to be on it. And thank you for following along. You can find us on pretty much all social medias. I don't know if you're down with TikTok. It feels like a soulless place, but I think I'm falling victim to it as well. So you can find us on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music. Really, if you think about it, we're inescapable. So check out, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, Mountainside can help. Call 860-365-6764 to speak with our caring treatment team.